Yeah, ho. Hey, this will be a blog, a dream blog. Last night, I dreamt about somebody I've kind of lost in contact with over the years. Guillermo Velasquez. I was in the army with him. Cool guy and whatnot. I met him once I got back from Iraq. I dreamt about him last night in a very unorthodox way. And I want to speak on it instead of type it out, because if I type it out, I'll be all up in my feelings and I probably won't sleep good tonight. So with that being said, I want to talk about this dream I had about Zoe. That's what I call him. In dreamland, when I first woke up, I was in a house that I made up a few weeks back, and it was a beautiful house, a 2-story, a lovely house I had created down in Fort Stewart, Georgia, as some people would know as Fort Stupid. And I had a front and backyard in this house when it first created, which was occupied by my mother, my little brother, his old girlfriend, and myself. And it was just kind of nostalgic. It had a lot of things that dealt with my past in it and whatnot. And I realized the house, but I didn't realize what the new decorations were until I looked at myself in the mirror. And if some people know, if they've read my dreams, every time that I see a person or myself in a dream, I get all of these memories of what has been happening before the universe of that particular dream is. And I come to realize I wasn't the only one in that bed that night. So I woke up and looked at myself in the mirror, and Zoe was on my mind, and he was downstairs cooking breakfast for some odd reason. And I really didn't know how to act. At first, it felt confusing to be in this kind of dream. So the way that I was in this dream, I wasn't watching it as a movie. I was living a movie. And I went downstairs and I was talking to him, and I was like, I feel like I have schizophrenia right now. And he was looking at the pan, and when I said it, he looked up at me, and it felt like it was real life, because the last time we saw each other, actually the first time we saw each other, he looked at me and continued to look at me as if he was a lion, with bashful and shameful emotions behind his eyes. And it was just so strong and whatnot, and we were cool from then on. But he continued to look at me that way, and I'll never forget. And he looked at me that way when he looked up while he was cooking breakfast. And the rest of the dream was very much romanticized in a very strong way, to the point where the little wedding band I had on my left ring finger was actual, and I was all kind of weirded out, because I'm not the Marion type whatsoever. But there were several things in the dreams that I do not want to type out, because if I type them out, I have a fucked up night, and I really don't want that on my conscience. I just feel like after having this dream and not thinking of him for so many years, I feel like something is happening to him, and it's just not getting to me. and I'm very connected to the spirits and whatnot. So if something is going on with somebody that is close to my heart, it'll come to me in a subconscious kind of way. And today it's been, my subconscious is really be on the rocks. Success. I got a rough day in my mind. Fucking around with Zaul, and that moment we had a picnic at night looking at the stars, and it looked like the stars were turning into snowflakes and there were no clouds, and then snow flurries, and then eventually it started snowing, and there we were on the blanket looking at each other, talking, having the lamest conversation about what's going to happen when the boys get back from summer camp. And spit take. So I'm thinking, there's a lot of things going on in my head. I was thinking about a lot of things in the dream. It was fucking gnarls, because I'm always harping about not bringing a child into this world. And sometimes I have dreams about fathering a child, but I was fathering a child with Zaul, and in the past I persuaded him to be straight because it would be easier on his mentality than it would be being gay, and I could have had a chance with him, but I told him it would be better to be straight for him. And in this dream we ended up being married. He had a second child. I had my first child. At the same time, they grew up together. His eldest child was alright. Living in this beautiful home with all these things around, like a family has been made and been living there for a while now. And he was still in the army, and I was the army hub. Psych! I have no idea where this dream came from, and it's just been shits and giggles all day, and then it's been pain and wondering piled on top of it. It hurts and it goes, feels good, then it goes. And I just think about his face, his lovely face. Having the powers that I have when I dream. Sometimes I'll curse, and last night it was a curse. Because I did not want to deal with today whatsoever, but here I am, getting it off my chest so I can have a clean slate tomorrow. And that's why I blog about my dreams sometimes. The last week, I was on the thought processes of summoning Duke Noriega into my dreams, and Duke Noriega hasn't shown yet. Instead, I get Zaul Velasquez. I should not be having that kind of dream. Life really does suck sometimes for me. That's just another complicated thing about me. And before I woke, some things were said. We were laying in a bubble bath. I had him between my legs with his head on my chest, and we were looking up, and there was a mirror on the ceiling. And we were talking about love and the impact of being together. Then at one point, he said something about, we won't die if we always have love for each other. And then I woke up. sleeping pill be with me tonight, but don't deliver any of that bullshit that I had to do with last night.
Hey, this is a video log concerning Dreamland. Last night I had some very innocent prone dreams. Took me way back when I was in Prince Hall, and then it just moved gradually throughout the years and whatnot. And today was the day I revisited and relived my entire life in my head. The first part of the dream was about surfing, mountain climbing, tournament fighting, rollerblading like the Airborne movie, and helping a genie create a frictional beach after devouring a shrimp-style buffet. The second part was about this high school. If it wasn't named Triceratops, it was in memorial of a Triceratops, if I could talk right. A lot of things happened in that movie. That dream that played like a movie, but it was more so lingering towards how I was as a youngster growing up and whatnot and dealing with people. The third part was about Duke Noriega and I, kind of like the Graceland TV show I was watching the last night, and some things came up. But earlier today I read something on the Psych to Go page, and it was about why do poor people feel more empathy than rich people? And I answered it, then I had to get back to work, and then I started thinking about things, and well, I've been thinking about the dreams all day today, but the innocence factor, I was thinking about the thing I still resent my mother for, and it was, she had a job in DC with the FBI, but she came back home because of how me and my brothers were coping with it, and we stopped eating, we stopped talking and stuff like that until she came back. But she gave up that opportunity to come and tend with kids, and I know that after you have children, you know, you're supposed to be there for them and raise them and all that, blah blah blah. But I still resent her for that. But things that happened growing up from just the little things of thinking back on when I first walked in, how I was dancing and whatnot. One of the first things I did, Mighty Mouse to the Care Bears to Daisy and Donald Duck, lightning bugs, the yellow and the green ones, seeing ladybugs, blowing kisses to birds for good luck. A lot of little things as a kid and whatnot. Going swimming, not being afraid to swim, and I'm black, I get it, but I started thinking about what it was like going to school and whatnot, because you know, being a human kind of sucks, and you have to learn all this shit and learn how to deal with people. And I got to this point where I was just not happy with the cards I was dealt, and I learned how to and I learned what kind of world I was brought into at a very early age, so I grew up fast, and I just didn't like a lot of things, and like preschool, kindergarten, first grade, and second grade, I was a great person. Then I got to the third grade, and just things got nasty, and I just stopped caring, and that made me think about the other day when Psych to Go posted something about your relationships with peers, family, friends at an early age depicts on your relationships in the present day, and I found the anchor to why I'm not relationship oriented, and it's because of the fact that I saw the world in a different way that other people didn't see it. And me personally, I never saw skin color. I never saw gender. I only felt the creed of a person's character. And realizing what kind of world I was brought into, I knew that I didn't know everything. I knew that I would have to learn things the hard way, sometimes the easy way. I try to learn things the easy way, but things are not panning out that way. But all this learning stuff, I always wish that I knew everything right then at the time, but it was never the case. And like just anger just started piling up on so many cases, and I found it very difficult to deal unless I was absolutely left alone. And the thing about kids is kids are curious and they don't want to be left alone. They want to know everything. And too many people stuff on my face. But just thinking about all of the innocence, thinking about all the lessons learned, thinking about how I got here today, thinking about the relationships and everything, and how my best friend in kindergarten disappeared. He moved to a different state, I believe. That kind of put a rift in my personality over the years and whatnot, as I figured out that nothing is permanent. So I never felt any relationship was permanent because of it. And finding out what kind of person my parents were back when they started conceiving me and what they grew into that day and age, so on and so forth. Cousins, uncles, aunts, like the difference between the generations and whatnot, all of that stuff. It just made me not relationship oriented, because people change on a daily basis. It can be minute to humongous, and I just never felt the need to get involved in it. So that's why I've never been in a relationship, thank goodness. But things be happening, and the universe be tempting a nigga, and the nigga don't want it. Stop, universe, please. I'm fucking begging you, stop. That situation that happened Wednesday happened again. Not going to be a good rest of my life. Oh, I just wanted to stop. I want all the temptation to stop. The cleanse took a while to start. I fell off my path. Now I'm back on it cleanse, and I just want to stay on it cleanse. So tonight, I'm going to do what I always do, which is work on my stories and be at peace. It is a lovely thing. And I hate Malachi for the picture he sent me today. But I'm outies. Video log is done about this dream of innocence. Innocence spell is over.
Terrence Prescott Barnes here. It's time to talk about the latest dream I've had, and it's full of so much tumultuous behavior that I can't deal with anything this morning until I get it off my chest. And my brain waves and my membranes, everything revolving around my mind. So, in Dreamland, I appeared in a place, a brand new one, never seen before, with a lot of my family and a lot of new people. And I unfortunately got caught up in some incidents that were kind of like that lame ass show Fringe, which I've been watching lately, but it wasn't like biological or anything. It was more revolving around dreams, and kind of like that one movie, Inception, where they go into dreams and then go into dreams and then go into dreams and shit. Well, subconsciously speaking, I've been dealing with a lot of things nowadays with how I'm gonna develop stories and things. Like last Tuesday, I had this huge impulse to intertwine the covens and werewolf side stories and put them into codes, which made codes a whole lot better. And now I'm dealing with the gay romances, and things are becoming more prevalent in their stories, so that story could possibly be an actual huge story, but let's not try to go that route. So today I'm stuck with decisions on story number 26 and story number 27. Now, the dreams that I had last night were about these dream scenarios where something is trying to implant these ideas in heads to get them to enact some kind of some sort of anarchy or some sort of peace. And it seems like there are two different organizations trying to get into people's dreams and implant these powerful situations. So I was enrolled in this high school, and I was with these students and shit, and everybody looked beautiful and overwhelmed because it looked like everybody was diseased by some things that were going on. And at one point I was with these one students in this one classroom, and nothing was going on. It just seemed like everybody focused on one person for one moment, and then everybody focused on another person, like somebody had marionette strings and just controlling everybody's point of view. And we just kept looking at different students like throughout the time period we was in that classroom, and it seemed like somebody was trying to control something. So we started discussing what has been happening in our lives lately, like we're some kind of detectives and shit trying to figure something out, because this shit was fucking odd. And we sat around talking about what we saw in our dreams, and ultimately it came down to 3 different versions. So it seemed like it was good, neutral, and evil, which pointed out that there wasn't just 2 different factions trying to control people's dreams. And then we went to this other area, and I had to go to the faculty area of the building where they had the lounges and the principal's office and the secretariat, things like that. I got lost in there because it seemed like a maze of confusion. And then when I finally got out, there was these 4 dudes that were being targeted by everybody because they somehow were assassins implanted in the high school to control some sort of situation. And then they just started massively killing a lot of people because everybody was trying to target them. So I saw that situation unfold, and I ended up going to a different part of the school trying to talk to people about what's going on with their riot over there. And because the technology was really strong one night, they were able to seize off the direction the riot was going in. So we're just in that faculty area of the school. And then I got to this other area where the music class was in, and I saw all these girls standing around, and they was getting ready to do some vocal training with the teacher and whatever. Then the teacher switched out one of the girls for a dude, and then I walked into the room because I was supposed to go to their classroom next, and I was a little bit late. I walked in, and she was still getting ready, so I walked around and looked at everybody in their face, and it looked like it was a vision of them being calm, then it was a vision of them being highly stressed. And everybody was beautiful because I'm a shallow person like that. And we started to go in on the assignment of that day, which was this vocal training process. And the more the teacher made us sing in a specific way, the more calmer we got. So it was less calm face, stress face, and it was more calm face because she was trying to help us out with whatever dreams that has been happening. But they aren't just prevalent in the teens; they go to the adults too. And By the end of that class, everybody was cured of the dreams that they had the previous night, and it was all good then because the riot had stopped, and they stopped the students from attacking the forced assassins that were put into the population. Then I went to this other class, which was like this simulator type of thing, and they had these machines that were used to venture throughout certain areas of the world that were monster prevalent or not a part of the nations. They were like different civilizations without a treaty with the rest of the world, things like that. And it was like 2 people per machine. One was a pilot and one was the weaponeer. And I was with some girl, and for some odd reason she disappeared during the simulator, and this other person disappeared in this other person's machine. So I ended up getting out of my machine and go to the girl that was piloting the other one, and I jumped in, and then we were just doing some kind of simulation where the sun was sending these beings down to the planet, and we had to destroy the beings and whatnot. And it was really powerful, yeah, really beautiful, but in all actuality, things like that happen on that planet. So you got these people using different forces of nature and making them do all these crazy things in the hopes of destroying or creating. And at that moment, after we finished the simulation and we were trying to figure out where those students went, because they just up and disappeared. It's not like they had Portal as a superpower. It's like somebody jerked them from being in that classroom, so I also jerked them out of the simulator. And we was talking to our authorities and things like that, and they was talking about I overheard somebody say something about this is about the 6th or 7th abduction, and it was 2 of them at once this time, and they were trying to link them to something else. Come to find out, there's this group that in a nation about 2 or 3 over that were expanding their radius of trying to build this specific army with people with specific powers, and those students that got jerked were crystallization holders. So it seems like they were trying to build some kind of massive destruction ray with gems, and because people with superpowers in my universe that have crystallization as a power, they can turn their entire bodies into a crystal. And when you shoot like the crystals that make rays and lasers and things, so obviously they were building a cannon of some sort. And I had to deal with this shit, and then I woke up and it's been like 1 trillion miles per second in my head ever since. And I'm really trying not to make a 26 story, but if this shit ever comes to fruition, it will be titled Degradation. Because looking at everything that had happened in the dream, it seemed like there were people who were trying to make a world for the better, but it was still degrading the tools they were using, which were people. And then you had people who were trying to destroy the world, who obviously would be degrading the tools and the systems and the fabric of reality and things. So it could be degradation, or it could be Dreamland is killing me, because it really is. So I'm gonna go and find a snack and refuel before I start drawing more faces for Thickville. But that's what happened in Dream last night. It was very vivid. You should have seen the beautiful characters that I saw. Everybody was wild and beautiful, and they had these extremely fucked up names. I can't remember right now, but I know one was named Soul Sore, and she was this beautiful mixed girl with lovely eyes, jet black hair, and she would just flip it over to one side and it would all be straight. And she had on this white top, and it had horseshoes on it, and black horseshoes on it, and it just glistened because it was all glittery and stuff. And she was one of the popular girls of the school and shit. And then there was other students and whatnot. Like, the girls were beautiful, the dudes were stunning, the assassins looked so model-esque. I wanted to punch them all in their fucking necks, but I was friends with them, so like a fucked up catch-22. Then a faculty and whatnot. Like, I'm trying to find a connection with story number 25, The Wrong High, but I can't find a connection because everything looked different from their world, even though their world is highly fucked up. So if I can find a connection with their world, I'll probably just put this story along with their story, because okay, now I'm starting to put everything together. It rivals that universe, the universe of The Wrong High. It rivals their universe a lot, and so I could possibly put all of those ideas into that story, because that's what it looks like now. I didn't put that together earlier because I was trying to figure out, is this something that deals with another world or not? The order was taken out because the order has over 300 characters and it doesn't need anything else. And I was just looking at different things from 1 to 24, wasn't including 25 for some odd reason, but now then I just thought about 25. Degradation, Dreamland is Killing Me could be a different segment of The Wrong High. But we'll see. Anyway, have a good day.